Sunitha, coming back to you, when let's say you guys are investing into a startup, how important is the IP for you?
Uh, Very few companies actually have per se an IP, right? To be very frank, a lot of companies, if you see today, are tech-enabled companies because it's more disruption from how you distribute certain aspects. So today you're seeing D2C, it's tech-enabled, but what used to be there earlier on, you're actually changing how the distribution is happening. Ola again, or anything in that bucket was more traditional business which actually got tech enabled, and they created a lot of things on top of it to be able to build it. So there are very few companies which have very core IP, right? In terms of either say life science companies, EV currently, a lot of EV companies which are coming in, AI ML companies, those are the ones which actually have core IPs and truly actually even think of valuing their IP from that aspect, right? Rest of the guys actually don't even think of it from an IP perspective. It's more in terms of a capital cost for me to be able to build my technology to enable the kind of things which I want to do. So I would say from an overall, market perspective itself, you will see roughly only around 15-20% of the companies which have true IP from a core business perspective, right? Everybody else is actually building on certain things which are already there and actually layering on top of those things.
Correct.
So
So
from that way, it might not be as important because everything else will also kind of add on. Core IP may not be the only case where we actually look at it.
So that's a very important thing which you have said, Sunitha. Uh, so we in IP law firms, we focus only on IP, right? So 60% or 65% of our clients are from the US, and we do not have to, and some of them are raising funds, some of them have already raised funds, and they've since people who have raised funds are also aggressive on IP. We're filing more and more patents for them in India and US. People who are raising funds are also very aggressive on IP because investors in the US really want to know what's your goddamn IP. How will you protect yourself? How will you stop competition? And a patent, for example, can answer all these tough questions an investor going to ask. Now that mindset, which is there in the US at the moment about IP, in the investors as well as in the founder, that mindset is not there in India yet. And for that, so therefore, we are doing a lot of sessions in India. We're doing a lot of trainings and courses in India and a lot of corporates and stuff like that. So so what we're talking about is incremental things. In India also, people have something and they build something on this incremental steps which, let's say, founders are making, are adding. Their small incremental let's say features they're added is IP worthy, which is not a lot of founders know that they can have patents for these incremental steps as well, the incremental innovations as well. I think that's very important for our people, our founders to know that you need not have to have a breakthrough invention in order to file a patent. You need not invent CDMA or GSM. The breakthrough inventions era has gone. I mean, CDMA was a breakthrough invention. GSM was a breakthrough invention about 25-30 years back. But all these 20, 30, 40 years, people are generally doing incremental inventions. Now,